Good morning. All right, I think Kansas City's ready. I think workers and allies alike are ready this morning. So how about we get started without further ado?
We know that 2/3 of low-wage workers experience wage and hour violations, and in the fast food industry, it's even higher. In addition to that, low-wage workers experience racial discrimination and sex discrimination, both in housing and on the job.
Traditional legal services aren't available to low-wage workers. They don't have access to it, they can't afford it, so they're taken advantage of by payday lenders, they're taken advantage of by car dealers, by their employers, by landlords.
And so we started the Heartland Center for Jobs and Freedom because we wanted to respond to that and make sure that low-wage workers know what their rights are, they know how to protect their rights, and that they have somewhere to turn when their rights are violated so that they can enforce them.
We were paying $600 a month, and within that home, the heat wasn't working. And so we went through the fall months and the winter months freezing.
Landlords have a duty to provide safe and habitable housing, but too often they're not doing that. What workers often do in those situations is they stop paying their rent because they need to get out. Anyone here ever heard of the Civil Rights Act? We conduct an intensive Know Your Rights education program, and we reach out to low-wage workers to inform them about their rights on the job, about their consumer rights, and about their rights as tenants.
Having that pending on my record is really what's stopping me from getting me and my family a home.
Had she had access to a lawyer at that time, and this is before we knew Fran and before the Heartland Center existed, we would have been able to assert a defense on her behalf, and we would have been able to prevent that eviction from happening.
I thought about doing things that probably would have got me in a lot of trouble, just going off my feelings.
Anthony James bought a car from a car dealer, paid $500 down payment, took the car home, and a few weeks later the car dealership took that car back and kept his money. They basically stole $500 from him.
You take one step forward just to realize like they didn't push you like 10 steps back. It felt like a hole that you can't even get out of.
We tried to get them to just give us $500 back. They wouldn't do that, and so we ended up taking the case all the way to trial, and the dealer ended up facing thousands of dollars of penalties as a result, and ultimately shutting down.
They're on the front lines working with workers, people that are going to work every day, individuals, ordinary people that are having their rights abused, and they are fighting for those rights, making sure those individuals understand those rights so that they can help stop racism, it can help stop wage theft, as well as sexism and any other social ills that take place on the job. We thank God that the Heartland is here.
The light shined in on us, and it became a success because, like I said, that place is no longer in business at all.
I'm fighting for a union as well because we should not have to choose.
Living wage in Kansas City for one child and one adult is $22 an hour, so raising 3 of them on 9 is pretty much impossible.
I had to go back to work 2 weeks after having my latest daughter, where I was forced to stop breastfeeding because I could not even get an unpaid break to pump milk for my daughter.
And at that point, I thought, there shouldn't be any reason why I go to work every day and I can't even feed my own family.
We support movements of workers who are fighting for change, fighting for higher wages, fighting for voices on the job, fighting for union rights.
One
person cannot win. One person cannot be a voice alone. And together, united, all our voices can and will be heard.
All the rights that workers currently have were gained by people fighting for them, and those rights are under attack now, so we have to fight back to keep those rights.
The work of stand-up rests upon workers telling their own stories.
But most stories end up with 7 scenes. If your story has 17 scenes, you screwed up.
We have a leadership program that's specifically designed to teach workers the craft of storytelling so that they can tell their stories in the most compelling way possible.
Then if we go to our boss by ourselves and we ask for a raise, he's gonna laugh at us.
We want to relate to the public. We want them to understand that we are real people going through real struggles. And the only way to do that is to be able to tell our story and really let them in.
The movement has shown that the power of a voice is greater than the power of corporate wealth.
Our whole organization has seen what it's like for low-wage workers. And that's why we started the Heartland Center for Jobs and Freedom.
My dad worked 3 jobs to try and put food on our table, and yet we still went to food pantries. So if someone had been around to stand up, I think my whole life could have been different. I think my family's life could have been different.
We envision a country where all workers of all races and all backgrounds have the ability to live full lives, free of exploitation, free of poverty, and free of abuse. And we know that can happen by making sure that workers know their rights and can enforce their rights, and that workers' movements have the support they need to be able to succeed.